Welcome to Video FTP. Despite the name, this page is not a traditional FTP client, and you do not need an FTP password to use it. It is a browser-based bulk uploader that drops video files straight into the same server folder a real FTP client would write to, the uploads/FTP_uploads directory, where the FTP video processor cron then picks them up, creates database entries, extracts metadata, and feeds them into the main video pipeline. Think of it as a drag-and-drop replacement for a standalone FTP program with chunked uploads and a live progress queue. To open it, log into your admin panel and navigate to domain.com/ct/admin/video_ftp.php. Or from the admin top navigation menu, click the import drop-down and choose Video FTP. When the page loads, you will see a green gradient banner across the top with a rocket icon, the page title, and a breadcrumb trail reading Dashboard, then Videos, then FTP Upload. Embedded in the banner are 4 stat cards showing live queue counts. Below the banner is a large dashed border drop zone, then a green tinted info panel listing every accepted file format, then the upload queue itself with 3 control buttons. The whole page is one continuous scroll. No tabs, no modals. The header and the 4 stat cards. The green gradient banner does double duty. It tells you where you are in the admin, and it tells you how busy your upload session is right now. Below the title and description are 4 translucent stat cards in a row. Queued shows files added to the queue that have not started uploading yet. This number rises as you drop or pick files and falls as they transition into the uploading state. Uploading shows files currently transmitting chunks to the server. The default ceiling is 5, the maximum concurrent uploads value, meaning the page runs up to 5 files in parallel and holds the rest queued until a slot opens. Completed increments every time a file finishes its last chunk, and the server confirms the full file is on disk in the FTP Uploads folder. Once a file lands there, it is out of your hands. The FTP video processor cron will see it within a minute and move it into the pipeline. Failed increments anytime a file errors out, invalid format, server rejection, network drop, or any other fault. A non-zero number here is your cue to scroll down to the queue, find the red bordered row, and either retry or remove it. These 4 numbers update in real time. They are scoped to the current browser session. Refresh the page and they all reset to 0 because the queue lives in browser memory, not in the database. The drop zone. Below the header is the drop zone, a large rectangular area with a dashed border, a folder icon, and instructional text. This is the heart of the page. There are 2 ways to use it. First, drag and drop. Open a file explorer next to your browser, select one or many video files, and drag them onto the drop zone. As your cursor enters the area, the dashed border glows green, the background tints, and the box scales up slightly. Release and every file gets validated and added to the queue. Second, click to browse. Click the green Browse Files button and a standard operating system file picker opens, filtered for video file types. Select one or many files, click Open, and the files flow into the queue exactly as if you had dragged them. Below the button are 2 small lines. The first tells you the maximum file size. By default, 5 GB, configurable in TBL video settings under the FTP_upload category. The second tells you the maximum concurrent uploads. By default 5, configurable in the same place. Drop 50 files at once, and the queue accepts all 50, but only 5 upload at a time. Validation runs the moment a file is added. The extension must match the allowed formats list. By default MP4, AVI, MOV, WMV, FLV, WEBM, MKV, TS, M4V, 3GP, F4V, ASF, RM, RMVB, MPG, MPEG, M2V, DiveX, XVID, OGV, OGG, 3GPP, and 3G2. And the size must be under the configured maximum. If either check fails, you get an alert dialog, the file is rejected, and the rejection is logged to the debug panel in red. The Format Info panel. Directly below the drop zone is a green bordered info panel titled Accepted Formats. It is a static reference. No buttons, no controls. Inside is a wrapping grid of green badges, one per allowed extension in uppercase. Glance at this panel to confirm at a glance which container types your install accepts before you spend time pointing the drop zone at a folder of unsupported clips. If you ever need to expand or restrict the accepted list, the actual source of truth is the TBL video settings table. Change the allowed format setting under the FTP upload category and refresh this page to see the badge list update. The upload queue. The upload queue is the middle of the page and where you will spend the most time. It has a header bar, 3 control buttons, and a stack of upload item cards. 1 card per file in flight or completed. The header bar reads Upload Queue on the left, with 3 buttons on the right. Start All is the green button. It tells the queue to fill any open concurrent upload slots with files that are still in the queued state. Normally, you do not need to click this. Files start uploading on their own as soon as they are dropped. Use Start All if you have used Pause All earlier and want everything to resume. Pause All is the orange button. It aborts every active chunk transfer in flight and flips those uploads back to the queued state. Anything queued stays queued. Use this when you need to stop bandwidth use immediately. For example, if you are uploading on a metered connection and need to step away. Clear Completed is the gray button. It removes every upload card whose status is completed, leaving in progress and failed items alone. This is housekeeping for long sessions where the queue has filled up with successful rows and you want to declutter the view. Below the button row is the upload item area. When the queue is empty, you see a centered faint message saying nothing is in the queue. As soon as you drop a file, that empty state message hides and the first card appears. Each upload item card has 4 parts. The header row shows the file name in bold on the left, the file size in megabytes or gigabytes in the middle, and 1 or more action buttons on the right. While a file is queued or uploading, the only action button is a red cancel button. While a file has failed, the action area swaps to a green retry button alongside a red remove button. When a file has completed, the action area becomes a small green done label. Below the header is a thick progress bar, dark gray when empty, filling from left to right with a green gradient as bytes transfer. The numeric percentage is centered inside the bar in white text. 0% on a fresh queue entry, ticking up to 100% over the course of the upload. Below the progress bar is the status row, with 2 pieces of information. On the left is a status message, the word queued when waiting, then uploading chunk 1 of 40, or whatever the current segment is when active, then completed when done, or an italicized error message if something failed. On the right is the live transfer speed, displayed as kilobytes or megabytes per second. The speed updates every progress event and is calculated against total elapsed time, so it smooths out rather than jumping around. The card border and background change color with state. Idle is gray, uploading is light blue, completed is light green, errored is light red. A glance down the queue tells you exactly where every file stands. The queue is purely client-side until the very end. Each file is sliced into 10 megabyte chunks by default. Those chunks are posted one by one to the ajax_ftp_upload.php endpoint with a CSRF token, the chunk index, the total chunk count, and a unique upload identifier. The endpoint reassembles the chunk server side, and only after the final chunk is acknowledged does the file appear in the FTP uploads directory. The debug panel. Below the queue on installs that have debug mode enabled in the FTP upload settings is the debug panel. It is a dark, terminal-styled box with green monospace text and a vertical scroll bar. Every action on the page logs a line here with a timestamp. Adding a file logs an added to queue line. Starting an upload logs a starting upload line. Rejected files log in red. Failed uploads log the error message in red. Completed uploads log a green confirmation. The panel scrolls automatically as new lines arrive, so the latest activity is always at the bottom. If you are troubleshooting a stubborn file that keeps failing, a chunk that gets a server error, a network blip, a CSRF mismatch, this panel is the first place to look. If you do not see the panel at all, debug mode is off. To turn it on, set the debug_mode key under the FTP upload category in TBL video settings to 1, then refresh the page. In production, leave debug mode off. The panel is a development aid and produces a fair amount of noise during a busy upload session. The bulk process flow. Here is the end-to-end story of what happens when you drop 50 files onto this page. You drop the files. The page validates each one's extension and size in the browser, rejects any that fail, and adds the rest to the queue with a status of queued. The queued stat card jumps to 50. The queue processor starts the first 5 uploads. The maximum concurrent value. The uploading card moves to 5 and queued drops to 45. Each file is sliced into 10 megabyte chunks in browser memory, and the first chunk of each goes out as a multi-part post to a dash. jax_f-t-p_upload.p-h-p along with the CSRF token. The server-side endpoint receives the chunk, writes it to a temporary location, and returns a JSON success response. The browser increments the chunk counter, kicks off the next chunk, and updates the progress bar. Speed is calculated against elapsed time and shown on the right of the status row. When a file finishes its last chunk, the server reassembles all the chunks into one complete video file in the upload/FTP_uploads folder. The browser flips the card to completed, the completed stat card increments, uploading drops by 1, and the queue processor immediately starts the next queued file to refill the slot. From here, the work moves to the server and you can close your browser. Within 60 seconds, the FTP video processor cron, that is FTP_video_processor.php, scheduled to run every minute by the cron manager, scans the FTP uploads folder, finds your new file, runs ffprobe to extract duration and resolution metadata, generates a sanitized file name, creates a RAW and TBL videos with status pending, moves the physical file into uploads/videos/original, and marks itself done. A few seconds later, the main video processor cron picks up the pending row and starts the FFmpeg encoding pass. The MP4 transcode, the HLS ladder, thumbnails, preview, and CDN upload. Every step from here is automatic. This is the no metadata upload flow. The cron creates the database entries from scratch using the file name as the working title. If you want to set titles, descriptions, tags, categories, or models, edit them in the regular video admin page after the cron has processed them. A few things to keep in mind on a busy day. If you have a slow link and want every kilobit of bandwidth on one file at a time, lower the max concurrent setting in TBL video settings to 1. The queue will then process strictly serially. If your source files are well over 5 gigabytes, raise the max_file_size setting. The chunked upload path bypasses the PHP post and upload size limits in php.ini because each chunk is small, but the server still needs disk space to reassemble the full file before the cron moves it. If the FTP video processor cron is not running, files will land in the FTP uploads folder and stay there forever. Open the cron manager and confirm that FTP_video_processor is enabled and scheduled to run every minute. Without that cron, this page is a one-way drop and nothing will appear on the front end. If a single file fails repeatedly, click Cancel, check the debug panel, and either fix the source or upload it through the regular admin video upload form, which has its own metadata flow. That is the video FTP page. One drop zone, one upload queue, 3 queue control buttons, an optional debug log, and a chunked upload pipeline that hands files off to the FTP video processor cron for automatic ingestion into your video library. Drop your files, watch the 4 stat cards roll over from queued to uploading to completed, and let the cron take it from there. For ad hoc bulk loads where you do not need to enter metadata at upload time, this is the fastest way to get raw video into ComusTumbz.